Cheryl's on the phone, as promised, from Groundwork Herts. Hi there. Good morning.
Hi there. Hello.
How's it going? All right.
Yeah.
You're enjoying the weather, are you?
Oh, yes. Well, it's not too bad at the moment, is it?
It's a bit of a shock in a way. We've had no rain for so long. It just seems so strange now having rain all the time. Right now, tell us about your latest stuff then. What are you up to?
Okay, well, as your listeners might remember, Groundwork, we're an environmental charity, and at the moment, this month, we're just launching a new project that we wanted to tell people all about. We're offering some free home energy audits for people, very timely as the winter is getting cold now. We'll be running this across Hertfordshire, and it's a free home energy audit to help people stay warmer in their homes through the winter and also to save money on energy bills. The project's designed for anyone really who feels that they're on a low income and they're struggling to afford to heat their home in the winter. It's also for the over 60s, but also for families who might have young children and they're really struggling. They're living in a cold, drafty house and they need some free services, some tips and advice to keep their home warmer. And it's also available for anybody who's, for example, got long-term illnesses that might get worse throughout the winter, things like arthritis, perhaps they have recurring problems with bronchitis or pneumonia, that type of thing.
Right.
And what we will do is we'll have one of our trained advisors come into the home at a particular time that suits the person. We'll do a home audit, so we'll be checking things like, is the heating adequate, what sort of heating system they have, and then we will be able to refer them on for a lot of potential free services. So things like free loft insulation or cavity wall insulation to keep the home warmer. We can also do draft proofing. So if it's a particularly cold, drafty house, we can put some draft proofing strips around doors and windows. And then there's other sort of emergency things. If people really are don't have adequate heating at all, we're able to refer on, for example, to provide emergency radiators for people, and also things that we're calling warm packs, which are particularly useful for older people and contain very practical things like blankets, hot water bottles, sort of emergency provisions. For example, if we suddenly got a very cold snap and people were snowed in, that type of thing.
Yep.
So it's a real range of services available.
It's incredible, isn't it, what you can do with insulation alone, because if you do the loft insulation, the thermal wall insulation, the draft excluders, you can make a very big difference.
It really does. People, I think, don't realise what a big difference it can make. But, you know, if you're living in a house that does have drafts and that isn't insulated, that cold does get right into your bones.
Well, to give an example, I moved a couple of years ago and I had a house that did have it, and it was fantastic, and we realised it had the benefits. When we moved to our new house, it didn't have it, and the difference was so incredible. You ended up having heating on all evening, and we had it done, and now we have it on for about 2 hours, and the warmth just stays there.
That's very true.
It just stays there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a simple thing, and it's a fairly easy thing, and a lot of the services we refer on to, the vast majority, will be free if people meet certain eligibility. But it's just something that will help people get through this winter. I should say our project is part of a much wider project through Hertfordshire County Council, and the whole project is called Keep Warm, Stay Well. People might start seeing posters up around it. There's a lot of promotion. There's all sorts of services available. So our little energy project is just one of those things. There are other things available for people. So there are also things like organisations like Age UK are involved, and they'll be providing a range of free services to older people to help them through the winter. Citizens Advice Bureau are going to be doing some things as well. So they'll be helping people out, for example, with benefits advice. If they're really struggling, they feel like they can't put their heating on because they just don't have the money, they may be able to provide some advice and support, debt advice, that type of thing. So there's a whole range of services, and we're one of the groups that's part of it.
Yeah, and we've been spoilt a little bit this year because it's relatively mild, really, isn't it, for winter? So it's not been quite as harsh as it has in previous years, I must say. Well,
no.
It's certainly, for the elderly, I'm sure it's still very, very cold. But certainly, no, it's not as bad as it has been, because I can remember some years where it's been so cold, all you want to do is stay indoors with the heating on all the time, full on, don't you?
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, we are lucky this year. I think this programme was put in place thinking that we could get another winter like last, and luckily it hasn't been. But still, people will notice, particularly if they're living in homes that don't have adequate heating. you know, when it gets down to, even if it's fairly mild temperatures, if it gets down to sort of even 4 or 5 degrees, it's very cold if you're living in a cold house.
Well, that's also to do with if you're not really too active, and if you're sitting around a lot rather than up and down and here and there and everywhere.
Exactly.
If you, obviously some people are fairly inactive, and if they are just sitting down watching the television during the daytime, then they're going to end up being quite cold if they don't do something about it.
That's very true. So there's a number to call. Can I give?
Yeah, I was just going to say, how do we get in touch?
Great. The number to call, it's actually the Herts helpline. Herts Help is the helpline that's run by Hertfordshire County Council for anyone who wants to call to get advice and support. So you should call this number. It's 0300 123 4044. And it's a local rate number, so it's just like calling any normal landline.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. That's fantastic. Thanks for chatting to us.
Great.
All right. Cheers then,
Thank you very
Sharon.
much.
Cheers
okay.
then.
Bye.